Hi, everyone. I am Violette Ayala, the founder of FemCity, and I'm so excited to introduce you to Emilah DeToro. She is one of our FemCity Global members, and she's very involved with our global program. I've gotten a chance to work with her on many projects. She is always amazing. She looks extra bright today. We were talking about this in the green room. She looks extra bright today because she just came back from a beautiful vacation with nature. She's just a joy and just a blessing in this world. So we're going to dive in and talk to her about FemCity and her thoughts about FemCity. And let's get started. So Emilah, how many years has it been since you've been a part of FemCity? It's been a couple years, I think, right?
Yeah, it's just about 18 months, actually.
Wow.
It's not been quite 2 years. I joined in the winter of 2021.
Yeah. Wow.
In the middle of the pandemic.
In the middle of the pandemic. That's amazing. For some reason, I thought we've been connected for 20 years, but it's
been so long. And it's actually a funny story. If we have a moment, I'll tell you the story. As you know, I'm an intuitive and a life coach, and I was scrolling through Facebook and found Authentic Web Solutions to do some web work with me. And Carla Fisher, who's the founder of that, is a femme. And we started working together with my website, and she said, your people are here. You need to go to FemCity. That is where your people are. And I was like, okay. And so I joined. Just like that, I joined the global membership because I knew it was a fit. I popped in on a couple of things. I checked out the website, and I was like, she's right. My people are here. And so that's why I joined. That's probably why it feels like I've been here forever, because there's such a good match for me.
I never knew that story, and I'm going to send Carla some love later on. And that's a beautiful story. I love it. And I love that you joined during the pandemic. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That just made me smile so much.
You bet.
And then speaking of the pandemic, so I was going to talk to you about exceeding your expectations, but I love that you mentioned pandemic. How has FemCity helped you? I was going to say before the pandemic, but you've only joined since the pandemic. So how did it help you during the pandemic? Anything specific?
Yeah, I left my full-time job during the pandemic in the summer of or early fall of 2020. So I reopened my life coaching practice during the pandemic, right smack in the middle of it. And FemCity was my go-to networking place. We have the global and the virtual networking on Wednesdays. And that is where FemCity is where I went to build my practice and to build my business and to meet people and to network. And I have been a supporter of women for my entire career. When I was in college, I was running women's retreats. So it made perfect sense to me to network and build my practice organically through women who had a side of woo, because I have a big side of woo. And it just was an immediate fit. And so I built my entire practice through the pandemic, through FemCity in a lot of ways. I had clients previously, and I'd had a practice previously. So certainly those folks came along, but all the new growth came from FemCity, and all the new learning about how to run a business virtually came through FemCity.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I didn't know that. Thank you. I mean, it's I feel like I'm getting to know you all over again.
I know. We don't really talk about these, our whole business stories and the kinds of things that we do, and it's been a big part of the growth of my business now, for it to become profitable and really expand beyond really even what I imagined for myself.
Wow.
Yeah. Because of the educational programs, because of the support with especially other global members. I've made some really great colleagues and friends in that program. And so there's a lot of support. I see how other women are doing it, and I get a sense of, would that work for me? Oh, that would work for me. Oh, no, that wouldn't work for me. I just see so many different possibilities that I can pick the ones that work for me.
I love that. And that's the power of storytelling, or the power of sharing your journey, is that as we share our journeys, other women can then connect with it and either say, oh, that's something that would be great for me, or, oh, you know what, doesn't fill my cup. That's not in alignment with my goals. I'll go, but you at least know about it as an option. And I think as we share those stories, we elevate collectively. I mean, and you and I can go really woo on this, but we elevate collectively to higher levels because we're constantly sharing bigger and bigger opportunities and the vision, and then it kind of like will alter ours so that we can also envision more for ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's a safety net and a soft place to land when something doesn't work.
Yeah.
Right. In the fall of 2021, I tried to launch a big program and it failed badly. And it was my FemCity people who held me through that and supported me in tweaking it and shifting and really getting clear about why it didn't work and what would work for me instead. Wow. And so this fall, I'm launching a much simpler program, a great membership that really aligns with my style of working with people in a way that other larger launch really didn't. So
I love that. I love also, Emilah, that you were so vulnerable and honest in sharing that you had something that just didn't work. And you verbalized it, and then you found support and you found ways to make it so it feels more like you, which now will, of course, almost guarantee, right? Absolute success.
Absolutely. Yeah. It will guarantee success because it's more aligned with me. Yeah. And I got feedback from other femmes. What about this worked or didn't work? And I cried on their shoulders, and then I celebrated the new choices.
Yeah.
I think communities of women do that particularly well.
Yeah, save space for women. I got chills just you sharing that. All right, so I was going to ask you, about having friends join FemCity, but you just covered that so beautifully. So, what's a story that you share? I love hearing the FemCity love stories. So, for those that are new and don't know what I'm talking about, there are stories that we all have. I have so many FemCity love stories of meeting someone and then all of a sudden your businesses grow together, or you partner up, or you collaborate, or you become best friends. We have a lot of stories about that too. So you said you had a really good FemCity love story. So what's your story?
Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, I was on a virtual networking call on Wednesday, and a gal popped up and introduced herself named Laura Castle. And she was a marketing person. And, I just kind of follow the energy. I follow where my attention is drawn. And I was like, gosh, I really want to do a coffee chat with her. And so a few months later, I set up a coffee chat and we had a great time. We were blah, blah, blahing all along. And I was like, well, where are you from? And she said, Hampton, New Hampshire. And I stopped and I was like, so you went to Winnicott High School? And she was like, yes. And I said, so did I.
No.
And we graduated from the same high school about, I'm guessing it's 20 years apart. It could be 25 years apart. I'm not really sure. I'm in my 50s and she's probably in her late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
So it's quite a few years apart, but we totally grew up in the same area of town or area of the country in New Hampshire on the coast. And so we reminisced about all of that. And so when I was looking for a marketing virtual assistant and somebody to help me with that, I called Laura and I was like, Laura, this is what I'm looking for. You kind of get me, not just because we went to the same high school, but because our philosophies on the world are similar. And so we've been working together for, I guess, just over a year now.
Wow.
And she does my marketing and social media. And she's gotten me on some fabulous podcasts. And she's now doing virtual assistant work for me. So she's got, she's the whole package for me. But she's just a pal now, right? She's just, because of that original conversation where we were like, wow, we went to high school at the same place.
Wow.
So cool.
And I love her too. Her energy. I got a chance to meet her. Her energy is just amazing. So I can see why the two of you were drawn. I'm almost like, I should have known that. I should have facilitated that introduction personally. But I love that you guys connected like that. And you just felt a pull, right? Like sometimes we feel that with certain people. We're like, I just feel a pull, like, you know what? There's something with that person that I'm already in love with. Like, I just already a big fan of theirs. Let's work together.
Exactly. I already liked her, loved her. And then I actually talked to her for a half hour and I was like, oh my God, at some point when I'm ready for this kind of work, you're my gal. And she was so excited, and so we have a great relationship. We talk every week, working on my marketing and social media, and she's part of my tiny little team, which I think I'm just going to put a plug in for a different book, actually, called by Jenny Blake, called Free Time. And it's about the power of building tiny little teams that are really effective for solopreneurs. And so she's part of my tiny little team, as is Carla from Authentic Web Solutions, who's also a global femme, and she's here in Albuquerque. Laura is in Florida. And I mean, it's just fabulous. I think that's one of the questions we had talked about, was how does it help my business, my brand? There's so much more visibility. When I first joined FemCity, I said, I want to talk on some more on podcasts. And people just jumped in and said, I have a podcast, I have a podcast, I have a podcast. It's so generous. The women in FemCity are so generous. And that led me to more and more podcasts that are outside of FemCity, but that are a really good fit for me.
Yeah.
It's a big marketing piece for me. And in turn, people come back towards me, right? Yeah. There are people from FemCity who use my services just like I use theirs, or others. It's a very generous model. That's what I love about this FemCity's networking, is how generous the model is. There aren't quotas, right? There aren't, you must do this, you must do that. You get to show up fully yourself, and then follow the energy, make your friends, make your business colleagues, make your pals. And I've seen businesses bloom from it, not just mine, but others as well.
Yeah, I love that. I was on a networking call today, and the host that was running it, it was through WeBank, which is a certification. FemCity is certified as a women-owned small business, and also with WeBank. And Nancy Allen, mentioned, she's like, you have to show up. Like any networking, you have to show up, and you have to give of yourself, and you have to follow up. And so sometimes people were like, oh my gosh, this networking doesn't work. Like, would you show up? No. I was like, well, I mean, like, that goes for everything. Like, you don't have food in your your refrigerator. Why? Because you didn't show up at the grocery store, right? I smell. Well, did you take a shower? You got to take a shower. Like,
show up.
Right. So, all right. So my last question to you is there anything else you'd like to share? My heart, by the way, Emilah, my heart is so filled of gratitude and love that you've just shared all of that. I'm trying really hard not to even cry, like just not to cry, but is there anything that you would like to add about yourself or?
Yeah. Well, I think two things. One, I'm just really grateful for you, Violette, because you are one of the people, you are the founder, and you lead with that generosity, right? So as you model it for the rest of us, we get to step in and show up. Right. I led those networking for several months. I was leading some Wednesday networking because it was so much fun showing up. Visibility. It's what makes a business work. It's what helps women connect with each other, so thank you. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is I'm moving in August to Tucson. So I'm currently living in Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm moving to Tucson. And I'm so looking forward this fall to opening and founding, I guess, a FemCity chapter in Tucson. So, if somebody out there watching this is in Tucson or Green Valley or Saharita or any of those areas, I would love to talk to you. So feel free to reach out. We have a special deal for people who join FemCity through other Fems. And I can help you with a discounted rate for that. And I look forward to gathering in person with women. I live in Santa Fe. My closest chapter is Albuquerque, which is about an hour south. And so I have gathered there at times, but it's not as easy as when it's right in your town.
Yeah, I know. There's not like, I love the virtual space also because I get a chance to, for me, it was a blessing during the pandemic. It gave me the opportunity to connect with our members in a way that I never would have because we were forced to be on Zoom and through digital kind of platforms to connect. Mm-hmm. So for me, I got a chance to get to know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of our members in a more personal way, specifically the global program. I mean, that just blew up during the pandemic in such a great way. But I love that you share that in real life, like seeing people, that human connectivity is just so powerful. And I know you're going to be an amazing FemCity leader. I just know it. And now I have to go visit. Now I have to go visit Terry over at FemCity Albuquerque and go visit you. I've never been to any side of that area of the United States. Can you believe that?
That's great. It'll be so good to see you once we get going.
Yeah. I would love it. So for those that would like to learn more about FemCity Tucson, you can head over to femcity.com and you can reach out to us. If you don't have Emilah's information, I'm going to tag her. I'm going to try to tag her everywhere. It's really easy for you. But she is one of our ambassadors, and she does have a friend discount link. So if you do want to take FemCity for a spin for 30 days, you can reach out to her and get a special friend discount. Anyway, Emilah, this was the best. This is my last meeting of the day, and I'm like, it's just beautiful. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to share with us the importance of community, of women supporting women, collaborating collectively. You gave some tips there also about growing your brand and how to do so. So I love that too. And I'm just sending you a big hug. I can't wait to give you a hug in real life someday soon.
Thank you. Me too. Thanks for having me on this, Violet. It was so fun. Bye.